Greetings, horror, sci-fi, and Michael Myers fan. Drew here from Horror, Sci-Fi, and Beyond, and we're here at our big Halloween special. Um, this has been a pretty big and busy year this October, and all the months leading up to October, and because we're here to do the David Gordon Green Halloween trilogy, and
Oh, green.
And part of the reason why the last couple of months were busy for me was if you saw yesterday, I decided to make a Michael Myers Halloween film to promote this episode. And so that took up a lot of time, and but that was really fun. I finally got to play a character I always wanted to play, Michael Myers, and that was a lot of fun.
Wait, it's out?
Yeah, well,
Oh wait,
you're
this is the
watching
future. This is the future. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Ah.
You're not thinking three-dimensionally, Marty.
Whew.
Yeah, so we can finally reveal that. We can finally talk about it.
Yeah.
After months of secrecy.
It wasn't months, like maybe a month.
I
Like,
mean,
when did we shoot that? Was it like August or September?
Yeah.
That's like okay, maybe 2 months. Maybe 2 months.
Okay. But no, that was a lot of fun. And you were the cameraman during that, and I just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. It was fun. It's a nice way to spend anytime you spend like a Saturday or something for a couple hours just filming something with friends. It's always a good time. So
Yeah.
happy to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm working on an outline for a Scream fan film that's going to be coming out in a few years for the 30th.
Oh, nice. For Halloween, like a Halloween fan film.
Yeah, well.
Oh, Scream. You said Scream. Sorry, I missed it.
I don't know if I'm going to use it to promote, because I'm going to do the whole Scream series that for October, but that would just be a fun thing to do. Can I have a?
So you want to play Ghostface, is what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And I have to do a little bit more acting during that.
Okay.
Well, you'll have to fall down a lot. So
Yeah.
We'll have to fall down a lot. He gets hit with
some knee
so
pads
many
and elbow
things.
pads.
Yeah.
Gonna get hit with chairs, hit by doors, knocked down stairs.
I'll definitely.
It's gonna be a fun one to shoot.
Yeah, I'll definitely be playing Ghost or voicing Ghostface. During like the phone conversation, the part of the phone conversation where like it's normal and not like necessarily scary. I don't know if I can do a Roger Jackson voice. The guy that
well, if you need help with that, I do a pretty good ghost face.
Ooh, okay, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Yeah.
So,
yeah, but yeah, I got a pretty cool idea for that one. Definitely something a little bit different.
That's like 3 years away, by the way.
Well, I mean, I gotta write it next year and then like start working on it like the year after that.
Okay.
But anyways, guys, a bit of housekeeping before we get to the Halloween video. I want to talk about the episodes that we're going to be doing for the next 2 months. The last 2 months of the year. And so in November, we're going to be reviewing the Robin Williams movie, Jumanji. I just want to review it. It's definitely a fantasy movie because you got animals and stuff coming out of a board game. It's a little spooky too. It's kind of a spooky movie in the beginning.
Well, last week you said it was kind of a fantasy movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100% a fantasy movie.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm in a mood to derail tonight.
Whole thing's going off.
Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna be reviewing that, and plus I just love that movie. That's like one of those childhood classic movies for me. And then also in November, we're bringing back the MCU look back. We're doing episode 1.
Which one are we doing? Which movies are we watching in that one? I always forget.
Civil War, Doctor Strange, and Guardians 2.
Two really good ones.
A mediocre one.
And we all disagree on which one the mediocre one is.
Yep.
Probably.
Yeah, probably so. Tune in to find out.
And then in December, by request of Mr. Harbor, Jackson, we're gonna be doing Home Alone 1 and 2.
Yes, I
Nice.
love those movies.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna do this kind of the same thing we did last year, where we did more like a traditional Christmas movie, or a more like straight Christmas movie, like a Die Hard, even that's more on the alternative, and then more something that fits into like my structure myself. It's like a Muppet Christmas Carol, like that's kind of another fantasy horror
Yeah.
kind of thing. I don't know if we're gonna be doing like a Christmas horror movie or not. But we're definitely
Like
doing
Christmas, always a good one.
Black Christmas. We can do that for our Christmas special, but I haven't decided what I'm gonna do with that yet.
No way to make decisions right now.
And then another MCU look back, episode 6. With if I remember correctly, that's gonna be Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, and yeah, I think that's it. Because I want to do Black Panther separately.
Okay. Yeah, because those are the next 3 for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, just out of respect for Chadwick Boseman, and I think it's so different from any of the other Marvel movies. So it'll just be weird.
It's not that different.
No,
Got some pretty dodgy CGI, just like the rest of them.
No, I just meant like tone because like Thor and Spider-Man are more lighthearted, and then you go from that to like something more serious. Like I just didn't feel comfortable, and it's a very like culturally significant movie too.
Right. That none of us have anything valuable to say about.
Yeah, but I mean, it's part of it's part of it. So we gotta talk about it. Yeah, and then in January we're taking a break just from this also.
Yeah,
because it's been a great year until you look back and everything else. I just need a break for a while, for a month.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take a break.
Yep, and I think the first video or the first episode I want to do next year is another Del Toro video or episode.
Oh boy.
Yeah, where we do all the ones we missed.
Okay.
The last one I wanted to do the movies that I haven't seen. And this is gonna be more movies of his that I have seen.
Which ones have you seen? Like Devil's Backbone?
Well, before that, the
Chronos?
first one, the ones I've seen were Pacific Rim, Shape of Water, and then Nightmare Alley, and then since then because it was released after the fact, Pinocchio. This is one of my favorites of his.
I still haven't watched Pinocchio yet. I want to. I need to.
So good. But anyway, speaking of Del Toro, last week, as everybody's watching this, they announced the cast list for his Frankenstein movie.
Oh, he's finally getting to make it?
Yeah, apparently on Netflix. And
okay.
Here's the cast list. Andrew Garfield as Dr. Frankenstein.
Okay.
Isaac as the monster.
Oh, not Doug Jones? That's sad.
I mean, and then Pearl herself, Mia Goth as the bride.
Okay, that's good.
So they're doing Frankenstein and Bride all in like rolled into one.
Yeah, and it's
Del Toro, so he's gonna do his own thing.
Yeah, mash them all and tear them apart.
Right.
Yeah. Be a lot of caved in heads. He loves that. He loves a caved in head.
He does.
He really does.
But anyways, guys, that's my plans for the next few months, going into next year. And stay tuned for after this episode, because I'm be announcing my movie list or my review list for next October. Because I already got that planned out.
That's a year in advance.
Yeah, well, you gotta get the people excited.
It's true.
Yeah. So anyways, guys, today recording Green's Halloween Trilogy, and that starts with 2018 with the plot summary. According to IMDb, Laurie Strode confronts her longtime foe, Michael Myers, the masked figure who had haunted her since he narrowly escaped his killing spree on Halloween night 4 decades ago. So let's go around the room and let's kind of talk about our relationship with the Halloween franchise and then your quick thoughts about this particular movie. And I'll start with you, Jackson. What is your kind of relationship with the whole franchise?
So this is one of those movies that I remember seeing really late at night as a kid on TV. So it was edited. I don't even know if I watched the whole thing because as a kid, I was like, oh, cool, horror movie, and I'm by myself and it's on TV. But then it was really slow, and I think I got bored with it because I was probably, I don't know, 11 or 12, something like that. But it was something I'd heard of at least. And then I don't remember when I first saw the original, like, in its proper form. I really don't know. Probably when I was in college or a couple years after that. It was never a franchise that was really on my radar. There's still one I've never seen. I've never seen Curse of Michael Myers. I've seen all the other ones. I think a few years ago, I decided I was going to watch the ones I hadn't seen, except for some reason I still didn't see that one.
Still not missing anything.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's not my favorite franchise. I like some entries. I'm a big defender of 5. Weirdly.
Hot take. Yeah.
I kind of like 5. H2O's okay. I kind of dig the zombie ones, especially the second zombie one, because it gets weird.
A lot of swings in that one.
Super weird. And I admire that about it. I'm not going to say it's good, but I kind of admire how weird it gets. And then, so as far as this one goes, I was really excited because I like David Gordon Green. I've been a fan of his for, close to 20 years, going all the way back to George Washington and All the Real Girls and Snow Angels and his really early stuff. Ever since then, he's put out a lot of stuff that I haven't seen because, I don't know, who's seen Manglehorn? Come on. What is it? Our Brand is Crisis? What? You can't get me to watch a movie and call it Our Brand is Crisis. So, but that said, I was excited to see this one, went to see it in the theater, and I was like, this is cool. It's a cool movie. And then as the trilogy went on, I was like, oh, this is cool. We'll get into that as we go along.
Yeah, I think there should be a lot of fading towards the end of this episode.
Probably so.
So before I get to you, Eric, just to let anybody know, this is audio only. For Eric's background, he has Corey Cunningham in the Scarecrow mask. It's freaking amazing. But anyway, what is your relationship with the Halloween franchise, and what are your thoughts about this particular movie?
I kind of grew up watching the Halloween movies. My mom loves the first one. She doesn't like any of the rest of them. She hates all the rest of them. The rest of them are trash in her opinion, but she loves the first one. It was like the John Carpenter score was a ringtone on her phone for a long time. Just weird cat. So I've seen the first one when I was like really young, like probably like 13, 12, 13, something like that. And then, I think I saw the second one. I saw the third one when I was really young, and then it was just like, what is this? This doesn't have Michael Myers in it. I've come to appreciate 3 since then, as its own thing, and I kind of wish that they just kept doing different things out there, versus just continuing to go back to Michael Myers. 4 is okay. It's the return. 5, pretty good. Like 4 and 5 are probably some of the better like early sequels. Curse is terrible. H2O is fun. H2O is a good time. Resurrections, then is that it? Is that all of them? Yeah, that's all the original
the zombie ones.
Oh, and the zombie ones. I'm hit or miss. I agree with you. I love the visual flair of the second one. I think the first one's a little too much of what Rob Zombie does, and it doesn't quite fit with Halloween, but
Right.
they're fine. They're fine. They're like you were saying, like they're not good movies, but he definitely took some swings with the second one that I at least
Mhm.
appreciate, which is kind of what some of the Dave Gordon Green ones do. After they get through this requel, this first one, which is just the sequel with like new characters, basically, bring back one old character, and then we'll have all these new ones that we get to kill. Once we get through with that, everything starts taking some interesting turns.
Mhm.
And one of them I really love, and one of them I really hate. So we'll get into it.
Yeah, this is gonna be this is gonna be an interesting episode for sure.
Mhm.
But real quick, how I my relationship with the Halloween franchise. I told the story before. Just as a kid, going to Halloween stores and seeing all these masks for all these horror characters, I would ask my mom about them, and she would tell me about them. Um, and then it wasn't until I started when I first when I went to high school, like the first year of high school, or the summer before going to high school, is when I really started to get to horror movies because I watched like Psycho and Jaws that year, that summer, and then that Halloween, me and my mom finally watched the OG John Carpenter 1978 Halloween film starring Jamie Lee Curtis, and ever since it's our special movie. It's my favorite movie that me and my mom watch together every year. And we always make fun of the bad acting, especially Michael's sister when she's like, Michael,
He's getting stabbed. What is he
um,
supposed to do?
yeah, it was just funny. It was so 70s. And then the other babysitter character when she's like, Lindsay, Lester
Mm.
barking again on my nerves again.
See, I like her.
Yeah, well, even as he dies is freaking annoying. Like, sorry for the crudity of this, but when like Michael's strangling her, like in that car, like it sounds like he's having a fake orgasm. That's seriously what it sounds like to me. And then like Michael Myers himself got annoyed, is like, yeah, F this bitch. Just
I
like her.
mean, they do say that sex is la petite mort, which is the little death,
Right.
so it's all akin. Sex and death, it's all twisted and tied together.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, the original Halloween is very, very sacred to me for that reason. Um, it's not one of my favorite horror movies or franchises, rather. I would say for slasher franchises, Scream definitely, because it keeps
Mhm.
reinventing itself in interesting ways, and it's designed to do that. I feel like you can only do so much with Michael Myers, much
Mhm.
to the disagreement of a lot of fans, because people want more Michael Myers. I, personally, I think you just need to do it as an anthology series. That's just my
Mm.
opinion.
Yeah.
As far as this movie goes, I love it. I think it's my favorite sequel. In the series.
Mhm.
Even though I have a couple of issues with it, but we'll get into that.
Mm.
But I think as far as capturing John Carpenter's original tone, um, I think David Gordon Green got here. And again, if you guys watched my short film yesterday, you can notice that I put a little bit of a few odes to this film in there.
Lots of banh mi sandwiches.
I did not get that joke until the last time I watched it. I could have the subtitles on. I'm like, oh, it's a type of sandwich.
Mhm. It's a particularly delicious type of sandwich that completely derails any momentum the movie has up until that point.
Yeah.
When that happens, it's a weird scene.
I like that scene though, because one of those guys is an actor, or no, one of them is like a stunt man. The other one is like
Uh,
the like makeup guy for the movie. Like the older
okay,
cop is actually the
yeah,
makeup guy for the movie, and they just stuck him in the scene and had them improvise this whole
Oh, that's awesome.
conversation about banh mi. So
okay.
Yeah, instead like buy
I don't
me.
know. I kind of enjoy it. It's weird.
Yeah, it's funny because it sounds like buy me, and it sounds like he's asking him to buy me a sandwich,
Oh,
but this
Mm.
type of sandwich.
Buy me a sandwich. That's something a 5-year-old would make for his lunch.
Yeah.
He like brings a brownie. It's in like a Tupperware thing.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, let's get to this review because we've been taking long enough.
Okay.
I love the intro to this movie. We're the crime podcasters, and they meet Michael at that mental facility. And one of them takes out the mask to get him to say something. And then, like, the freaking inmates just start going crazy. And it keeps rationing up and building up until you get to the title screen. And you hear the do.
Right.
I thought that was so amazing how they did that.
It's bold for sure because
It's a
it is not very sensitive to mental health facilities because it makes it seem like it's a zoo full of apes just going nuts. But it's also very satirical about true crime podcasters.
hates true crime podcasters.
They are so up their own ass in this movie.
Yeah.
And I listened to the first season of Serial. I get it. They're kind of that way sometimes.
Yeah, I like the true crime podcaster. I did not like how they killed both of them off this early. I think they should have kept at least one of them.
I was fine with them both dying.
I was
feel like
pretty satisfied with their deaths.
Yes. I will say, if one of them gotten away, it would have felt a little convenient, especially like I don't know. I feel like it was justified when it came. They needed something there, otherwise it would have been another hour of pounding Michael, and people would have been upset. People would have been riding in the streets. This isn't 78. You can't wait 45 minutes before you start showing any killing again.
And then from there, they meet Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis's character, and she's not in a good place. She's very traumatized from the events of Halloween from 1978, and how to deal. And one of the female podcasters says to Laurie, "We'd like to re-examine we have to re-examine incidences with an unbiased lens. I believe there's a lot to learn from the horrors you experience." And Laurie responds, "There is nothing to learn. Like, this guy is a killer. Like, he's a sick man. That's all there is to it. And when he comes back here, I'm gonna stop him."
Yeah.
Enough said. This is how it's gonna be.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of this whole trilogy sort of deals with like the aftermath of violence, which a lot of slasher movies don't, which I do appreciate about all three of these movies, even if some of them aren't my favorite ones. And so that a lot of slasher movies in general, the end of the movie is just the end of the movie. Some of them survive, some of them don't, but they're alive, so they should be happy. Like, all three of these movies are about like people living with the trauma of having dealt with the violence, either through loved ones or themselves, which I always find interesting. Yeah.
Right. I think the only other slasher franchise, and again we're bringing this up again, is Scream, that does that.
Yeah, because it has continuing characters throughout the series.
Yeah, I think Sidney Prescott, other than like maybe like Laurie Strode, but that this whole timeline's messed up anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
I think she's the only original final girl that survives her entire franchise.
Yeah.
Because
probably right.
From Friday dies. Nancy dies in Elm Street 3.
Laurie Strode dies in Resurrection, right?
Like I said, I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, she dies at the beginning of Resurrection.
Oh, God. Well, there's Sally Hardesty, who I don't think ever comes back. Does she come back?
From
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, I'm not.
She does. She comes back in the new one. New one. Not the same character. The lady who portrayed her in the original passed away, but Marilyn Chambers, she passed away.
Yeah, she died, but
character comes back, and don't watch that movie. It's not good. But
that was your least favorite movie of last year.
Spoilers.
Nobody cares.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
But that was your least favorite movie of last year, Eric.
Texas Chainsaw, yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, I'm not
Even for like an 80-minute like Netflix movie, I was just like, what a waste of time.
wow,
Mhm.
that bad.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty bad.
that's seen a
Even
lot.
by the low standards of Texas Chainsaw sequels, which are really low.
Um, but I like how the male podcaster believes in Michael Myers, but not the boogeyman man, where Lori
Mm.
believes in the opposite. And I kind of took that as the podcaster probably believes this is a simple scientific explanation to what made Michael Myers Michael Myers. But Lori, it seems like she believes something like beyond that, maybe.
Mhm.
Like there's like a like because the whole because he talked to John Carpenter, he listened to John Carpenter talk about Michael Myers. He did not see Michael Myers as a man. He
Mhm.
sees them as the embodiment of evil, and that's why he was
Yeah.
treated it as the state,
Yeah.
not Michael Myers, because that's what he
Mhm.
is. He's just this. He's like Terminator. He's like this immovable object that cannot be stopped.
Yeah, he has no personality at all.
Mhm.
He just stabs people. That's what he does. Sometimes he does other
Light
things.
head,
Sometimes he strangles
slight,
them.
yeah,
Sometimes he
yeah.
breaks their necks.
Hmm.
You know.
Slight head turn, and then the stabbing. That's all.
Right.
That's all you get. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
there's nothing to that character.
and then that's an interesting juxtaposition, and it ends because I think he says something about that right before he kills. But we'll get to that.
Oh yeah. No, I
Yeah.
mean they touch back on that through all these movies about him being
Yeah.
this sort of like all the David Gordon Green ones at least, especially at the end of Kills. I mean, we'll get into it, but yeah, like should have been dead. Like they shot him like 5 times and then beat him senseless.
Stabbed him in the neck. Yeah.
Tag him on the neck. It's missing like 3 fingers. It's all the same night.
Right. And then I like how Allison's friend, Laurie's granddaughter, I like that relationship. I thought that was real neat.
Right.
Basically writes off the events of the first one and saying that by the day standards, it's really not that bad. Basically
Yeah.
saying that like, oh, it was like this thing that happened in like the late 70s and it became like this legend.
Yeah.
And it's really not
It's
that
it,
bad. It's like it
it's
almost seemed like it was cool to him in a way.
right. It's like simultaneously a way to write off like how like quaint and a little boring the 78 Halloween is, but
Right.
also comment on like how things have changed culturally since then as well.
It's kind of
It
a
works pretty
Scream
well.
movie type conversation they're
Yeah.
having. Yeah, because I mean, obviously, in this universe, that story has not been turned into a movie. Unlike in the Scream movies, you have Stab, but
Hmm.
it's 5 people died one night
Hmm.
years ago,
Yeah.
and in movie standards, and we'll get to this when we get to kills. It's not that many people,
Right. Well, and I think what
So-
John Carpenter was trying to do with that film was basically say, no, this happens. I mean, not murder, but there's some sort of like urban legend or like a myth,
right?
some sort of something
Sure.
that happens in every town. I know we keep bringing this up, but there's like a ghost train here in
Hmm.
Arkansas, and then there's like a ghost
Mhm.
bicyclist in Little Rock.
Yeah,
So like every town has something like this.
right.
Urban legends.
Yeah, kind of
The
candy
boogeyman. Yeah.
man kind of thing.
But I mean, to sing this movie's praises a little bit, like Jamie Lee Curtis is giving it her all
Oh, absolutely.
here. Like this is the movie she should have won an Oscar for.
Mm,
I mean, she's good in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I love that movie. But if somebody else was going to win that Oscar, I would have rather it been Stephanie Sue,
right,
and I
Mhm.
would have rather seen Jamie Lee win for this movie because she's
Mhm.
great.
right.
She
Mhm.
is. She's an icon. I
Yeah.
mean,
Like,
Laurie Strode, I don't think is the best character in horror movies,
Mm.
but Jamie Lee Curtis might be one of the best actors in horror movies for
Right.
sure.
but you gotta
Yeah.
remember that in the first Halloween, and I guess sort of Sidney Prescott, Ned Campbell in the first Scream, but like in the first Halloween, that was like one of her first movies.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she was like 19 years old, something.
Yeah.
When she made that,
What
19 or 20.
Yeah, what I liked about here was like because Jamie Lee Curtis is the absolute beautiful person, like inside and out.
Mhm.
And they kind of made her like she wasn't afraid to look a little like worn out and disabled a little bit.
Well,
She went the full Linda Hamilton route for Terminator 2.
Well,
Like she's
that's
yeah.
part of her thing is Jamie Lee over the course of her career, she's talked about this publicly. She's like, I'm never getting plastic surgery. I'm just going to age. I'm just going to age how I age, and that's fine. And that's very admirable in a industry that like puts a lot of pressure on especially women
Mhm.
to
hmm
go under the knife to keep looking young, and it never works out the way they want.
Yeah.
Um, she's just like, I am who I am. I look how I look, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Gotta
still,
love that.
yeah, she's still just as beautiful today as she was
Right.
in like the 70s and 80s and
Yeah.
even 90s. Um, yeah, and yeah, I don't know, I just love her. Like she would just be no offense, mom, you're pretty cool, but Jamie Lee Curtis would be a really cool mom to have.
Not according to Judy Greer, she would not be.
Well, I mean, no, 'cause that's like her character in the movie. But I mean,
Yeah.
and then
But
nonetheless, like Judy Greer had an incident with her on these movies.
while we're on
Oh
Judy
no.
Greer, thank God for this movie. It gives Judy Greer a good role to play where
Mm,
she's not just like somebody's best friend or whatever.
yeah,
hmm
or
And
like
she doesn't show up
mom.
for like 2 scenes. It's like an actual character because she's so supremely talented and deserves so much better than what she
Yeah,
gets
because
from
it
Oh
Hollywood.
yeah.
like plays the friend or like the real like caring and
hmm
heart
Right.
character in a lot of movies. I mean, I don't like those characters. Like I like
Yeah, she's always great,
well,
but
Yeah.
this movie gives her like full scenes and an
oh,
arc.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will say one of my favorite Judy Greer moments, and I know you do not like this movie, Jackson, that Jurassic World when she's the mom of the two brothers characters, and
I
then
like when she's in it.
yeah, well then when
But
she tells them if anything chases you, run. And he kind of whispers the word run, and I just love that. Like just the way she delivered that. Like it
Yeah.
but to along what you were saying, what a completely thankless role for Judy Greer in that
Right.
movie.
She's totally
Like
wasted.
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, she could have been in it a little bit more. Um and then there's this part where they recreate the faith scene in the original one where Laurie's in the classroom and the topic's
Mm.
about faith. And then but
I
like
like that.
yeah, well the cool thing about it is um the teacher is giving two different definitions or viewpoints on faith.
Mm.
One philosopher kind of attributed it to religion, and the other one kind of attributed it to like destiny. And I think
hmm
it's interesting how when that conversation is happening in the original film, she looked out the window and there's Michael Myers.
Hmm.
So like faith, that's her faith. Is this guy
Hmm.
stalking her? And this isn't even before John Carpenter even anticipated that it be a franchise because he did not want this
Right.
Mm.
franchise. He did not want to continue Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. Um, and it's interesting that the same or the same lesson is being taught in this movie with Allison, and she's looking outside the window and she sees
hmm
her grandma, Laurie Strode.
Hmm.
Yeah. The first two in particular, like this one and Kills, have a lot of like little Easter eggs back to Halloween and a lot of the sequels too.
Well,
Which
Yeah.
some of them work for me and some of them don't. I think this one works really well because it's a nice character beat
yeah.
for her relationship to her grandma. There's a few of them that are just like,
Mhm.
these are just little throwaways, like people going like, I
Yeah.
see it. That was from the one with the kids in the Halloween mask. I get it.
But when we get to ends, I noticed a few or a couple different like
hmm
to John Carpenter just in general.
Sure.
We'll get to that.
Hmm.
One's obvious and then one's kind of like below the surface. But anyway,
Yeah.
I digress. I digest, as Brent Duhern would say. Um Lori says to Allison in this scene, or the next scene, if the way I raised her mother means that she hates me, but that she's prepared for the horrors of this world, I can live with that. Kind of a tough love situation, and that's kind of sad a little bit because there's a lot of resentment. And it's not until the day or the night that Karen Strode, the mother, Judy Greer's character, actually dies, that they start to get along. He really realizes, no, like my mom wasn't crazy. Like Michael Myers is real, and he's coming to get us. And it's kind of sad how like that night, like later that night, she dies. So it's only this traumatic situation that brings them together. And it's not like in ends where we just dealt with this really like terrible night, but I get to hang out with my granddaughter and make her pie. And that, I mean, I think that's really sad. And that's just something I literally just thought about just now.
Right. I originally heard that the third one was supposed to be the continuation of the same story, like the end of the night sort of thing. Like it was all going to take place on one night, which is an interesting thought. But I do appreciate that they took some time outside of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just would have been kills again, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. And going just kind of expanding on what I said, and then I guess you guys can kind of talk about can kind of branch off of this point.
Sure.
Going off the whole tragedy of Karen and Lori not getting along, or seeing eye to eye until this night, when Karen dies. It's only until this traumatic event where Lori can have a meaningful relationship with Hawkins and Allison. This is interesting because he even has a monologue at the beginning.
Michael Myers bringing people together and tearing them apart.
Well, he has a monologue at the beginning of this movie where she kind of lists everything, like how messed up she is. And, I had multiple divorces, and I'm an alcoholic, and I'm borderline crazy, and all this stuff, and it's turning away people, and that's sad that it has to take this night, this Halloween night in 2018, where a ton of people die, for her to have a meaningful relationship.
Well, that scene in particular, when I watched it this time, it hit me a little bit of a different way. And I think it's probably closer to what they intended, in that, right before that, the podcasters are talking about, like, we want to understand Michael Myers. And she goes, Michael Myers killed 5 people. I've been through 2 divorces and have a bad relationship with my daughter, and yet I'm the crazy one. I'm unstable. No, she's not unstable. Like, Michael Myers is the one who's unstable. There's nobody less stable than Michael Myers. And yet there's this whole double standard. It's like, why do we want to understand the killers and not understand their victims? I think that's what that scene is really trying to say.
Right. And that's why all those true crime podcasts, true crime shows, they almost always follow the killer, or follow the clues of the killer. Like especially like 10 years ago, they would always be the from the point of view of the killer. They still do. Dahmer, the TV show on Netflix, still kind of glorifies these sort of terrible people, when the victims the survivors are the ones who still have to go on living after it.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, is like, I feel like, we need to know about how these people operate it. But why do there need to be 50 million documentaries and 50 million like limited series and books about them? It's like,
people keep watching them.
It's sad. Like,
I mean, on a visceral level, it's more entertaining. Like, I'm not gonna deny that. Like, if you tell me about somebody who survived a serial killer and then just tell me their whole life after that, on a heart level, I understand why that's more valuable.
Right.
But on a like lizard brain level, I'm like, oh, but tell me about the killer. Tell me about what happened to them. Tell me the details of what they did.
Yeah.
Like, That's the horror fan in me coming out.
Yeah, and I
That's why I don't really get into true crime. I'm much more comfortable with like fictional movies about slashers, you know.
and I think the only kind of movie that makes that kind of thing okay is David Fincher's Zodiac. Because
Sure.
for one, we don't know who that guy is, so we kind of glorify somebody that we don't know what their face looks like. And two, like, he doesn't glorify or makes the killing scenes overly cinematic.
No.
Movie.
And after the first like half hour or whatever, there's no more killing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
it's all about the people trying to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
And let's be honest, it was probably Arthur Lee Allen.
Well, there's some debate about that. But
Yes.
I know, but it was probably him.
Yeah, and that's interesting because it didn't focus on the victims per se. It
Yeah.
focused on the people trying to take him down and how that affected their lives.
Yeah.
Especially Robert Graysmith, like he got divorced.
Yeah.
He was just so obsessed with the Zodiac.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting. What do you guys think about Dr. Fontaine? Do you think NASA's up to Donald Pleasance and Sam Loomis, or
what a choice?
What a choice! This was the at that point in the movie where he makes that turn. Wait, are we to that point yet? Is that what you're getting towards? Like where he?
Just in general?
I think we're.
All right, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Man, he's fine. He's a fine like throwaway character. It seems at the top. He was like he's put there to make you think like, oh, he's going to be Donald Pleasance, and then he's completely different from it, and he goes on like a killing spree. And I was like, oh, this is going to a place I did not see coming. This is nice. And then they immediately kill him. Like the sad part of it is that they're just like, well, no, we went too far.
Yeah, honestly,
because when he pops up with the mask on. I'm like, oh man, this is something.
You don't see that coming. Like,
yep.
I was not a fan of it. Like I thought he
loved
was,
it. Loved it.
Character, whole thing. I did not get the point of that. Maybe he was David Gordon Green was trying to say that people taking care of mentally ill people can be just as mentally ill. But like I feel like Dr. Loomis had that edge to him that Sartain did, but then doing that bullshit. Like put on a mask, like him putting on his mask and like going on a kill rampage. Like it's I just didn't get it.
By the end of his run, Loomis is pretty much a crazy person.
Yeah, well,
he's 100% insane.
Well, just the fact that he just had this one person, like, his whole life is.
I don't know.
Like that's crazy.
I do think the Doctor makes more sense if you view it in the context of all three of them a little bit too, and the idea that evil is something that is like that you can catch it almost.
It's a disease, yeah.
It's a disease, and so like being around Michael for so long and for so many years, he slowly starts to like, and probably doesn't have the pure soul that Loomis had, so it affects him a little differently.
Right, for sure. So did you guys want to talk about anything else before we get to the favorite part and least favorite part? And in this episode, we're gonna do favorite kill.
No.
I don't think so.
Oh,
I mean,
justice for Toby Huss. Poor Toby Huss in this movie. I love him.
Who?
He's so. He plays the dad.
I got peanut butter on my penis.
Yeah.
Did he remind you of Christian Slater a little bit?
No.
A little bit. His voice was not, but like his energy was kind of like Christian Slater is.
Okay.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if this character was played by Christian Slater? You'd be like, "Hey, Michael, what are you doing over there with the knife? You getting snatched some money?"
Just doing his best Jack Nicholson impression.
Yeah. That's kind of like what Christian Slater is. He's just like a less version of Jack Nicholson. I didn't think about that, Eric. I think you're onto something.
Oh yeah, thought it for years. But yeah, I agree. Justice for Toby Huss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some good moments, some bad moments, a mixed bag sometimes. But as compared to like other Halloween sequels, woo, pretty good by
Okay.
comparison.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Better than like Curse, better than Resurrection,
Hmm.
better than 2, really even.
Okay.
So
So let's go around the room and let's do favorite part, least favorite part. You go, Eric. Your
favorite part. Favorite part was Doctor. Favorite part was that twist, that turn with the Doctor, because I thought, and I wish they would have followed through. They do, I think, later on. I think that is what ends is the follow through on this idea they plant with the Doctor. But favorite part, I do love that long shot, that long take whenever Michael first and it's not really a long take, but it's this long sequence where we kind of follow him for a little bit, and he's like going down back alleys, getting in people's houses.
hold on.
That's nice. Oh, sorry. You want me to pick something else? I can pick a different. I can pick a different moment.
If it's genuinely your favorite part, it's your favorite part.
That's true. It's probably my favorite bit. Also, I do love. I will say this too. Okay, I'll change it. I got one.
He's gonna have like 5 favorite parts.
Let me switch it again real quick. No, I do like the reverse of characters at the end, where basically Michael almost becomes the stalkee and Jamie Lee Curtis becomes the stalker. It's that sort of inverse of the first movie.
Now you're stealing mine.
Oh, so, and then, okay, well then let me change it one more time. I love Judy Greer. I love Judy Greer for her turn in the basement, wherever she's like sobbing, crying, and then she like shoots him, or like he comes up. I can't remember. I get that turn right there where he like pops up, and she's like, "Gotcha." Love it. It's great.
Yeah, that whole
I'm
basement.
not gonna change it again. That's the one. That's the one I got.
Yeah, that basement scene was pretty rad. Did you do least favorite part or no?
Yeah. What was my least favorite part? I said it. I don't know.
I think you. Well, I got confused because I thought the Doctor was your favorite part, and then you said another favorite part.
Oh, maybe I just did favorite part. Maybe I didn't do least favorite part.
Yeah, you took all the favorite parts.
Oh, you're right. I did do. Okay, just 5 favorite parts. Those are the favorite parts here. I don't like the opening, to be honest. Like the whole thing. I saw it in theaters when it happened, and like people in the audience were like, "Ooh, ah," and I was just like, lame. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got.
Shoot, I blanked out for a second. Jackson, what's your favorite part? Favorite part?
I mean, Eric hinted at it. And it's revealed that Laurie's house has been designed as a trap for Michael Myers. She goes all Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. It's amazing. Like she's got all the way she's fixed the doors to all like go shut, like bars and stuff. She's got the basement all rigged up to explode. It's awesome. Like I totally believe this version of Laurie Strode has spent the last 40 years figuring out what she's gonna do if Michael Myers ever comes back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, that's my favorite part.
And then your least favorite part?
Oh, the part when the podcaster is like holding the mask and is like, "Say something."
I like that. It was cool.
It's stupid. It's so stupid.
But no, I feel like
the worst podcaster ever.
Yeah. But I feel like the mask, like Michael's mask, it's like the Batman cape and cowl. Like that's what gives him power, like and motivation.
Okay, cool, but like that's still really bad podcasting, where you're just yelling at your subject for them to say something while their back is turned to you. Oh my god,
Yeah,
it's so stupid.
Really great interviewer he is. That's how all of his podcasts end. He ends them on a screaming session. People turn in every week for him. You hear what he yelled about last week?
Something.
Wow.
Say something, Charles Manson. Robert Graysmith, who is the Zodiac Killer? Tell me who it is. I want to know. Is it Arthur Lee Allen?
Goes on for way too long, too.
Figaro. Yeah, like I said, we're having a fun time like we always doing here. It's all good. I gotta say my favorite part would have to be the wonder shot or the two wonder shots.
Mm.
And that
Yeah.
was the whole inspiration for our wonder shot was that in our movie.
Mhm.
Film that we made. Especially that one shot when it's when you see Michael Myers, it's in the window and Michael Myers coming up to the house, like that was completely like inspired by this. Least favorite part, the fact that Laurie is not Michael's sister. Like they teased it, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of. It did feel like there would have been more motivation there and more. I don't know, just something.
But
But
in
that's
that
the point.
point,
Michael
yeah,
Myers doesn't have motivation.
No, but for
in
Laurie,
this one,
there
in
would have
this
been
one,
like.
Michael
but
Myers
he
is a
wasn't.
killer shark in baggy ass overalls, as Buster
Yes.
Rhymes most famously said.
Hmm.
But yeah, but no, that's my opinion. Jackson, what is your favorite kill in this film?
Favorite kill. Okay, I'm torn between two, so I'm probably going to steal somebody's favorite. I have to go with the woman that's looking out the window and he grabs her by the hair and she screams. He slams her head against the window. She stops screaming and then he just stabs her right through the neck.
Oh yeah, that's pretty gnarly.
It's startling to watch because like I'm just putting myself in this woman's poor shoes. Like she doesn't know anybody's behind her, and then she's grabbed by the hair and then she's dead. It's pretty awful.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Eric, what's your least favorite kill?
Least favorite kill?
Wait, we're doing least favorite kill?
You say least favorite
kill?
too? Okay. That's the thing. I didn't come up with a least favorite one. Mine's between two as well. And I think the one I'm going to pick is actually just right in front of the one Jackson was talking about. And it's the lady in her house, and it happens off screen, but the sounds and everything happening in the scene, like all it's like mise en scene with the chair turning over and everything, and him getting it, and then you see the reveal of the aftermath. I love all that stuff. And it's you just feel like you want as an audience want to say do something, but you can't. It's good.
You know what, Eric? I don't think I can count that because you don't actually see it.
It's a kill.
I'm kidding.
You see the aftermath.
I'm kidding.
I was about to say.
I just gotta give you a hard time about that. No, that's
Okay.
a pretty cool one. I was going to go with Jackson's, but I really like the setup of Oscars with the motion sensor.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And then like
that was gonna be my other one, yeah.
And then like stabs them, slams them,
and that
slams them on the fence post. That was awesome.
And that score that kicks in like right after Allison runs up and runs away. Probably the best score John Carpenter's made in like 20 years.
Well, that
the score that kicks in like right after that when she's running up the street, great, wonderful.
Yeah, the fact that they got John Carpenter to at least do the score for this. I mean, he had his son and his godson, as collaborators, but still, like, he's like giving it his blessing. It's cool.
And then I like that violin sound though. In the middle of that.
Yeah, that's good. That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
Well, that wasn't a violin.
I can change my favorite bit again. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That part was not a violin. That was a guitar with the violin.
Is that one? Yeah.
Yeah. To make it
that rev sound. Yeah, it's good.
So what is your rating for this movie? And we'll move on to the next film.
For me, it's a solid 3. As far as movies go. If you consider Halloween movies, it's like a 4. Like just out of Halloween movies. But it's pretty good. It's a fun, solid watch.
Okay, Jackson.
It's like a 3.5.
Okay.
It's good, but we're getting to stuff I like more.
I'm gonna make a bold statement. I'm gonna go 4.5.
Oh,
definitely for sure. I love this movie. We're at Halloween Kills. And here's the plot summary according to IMDb. Surviving victims of Michael Myers form a vigilante mob and vow to end his reign of terror. So, Eric, what is your quick thoughts about this movie before we get into the deep dive?
Coming off of Halloween, which is a pretty solid like sequel, requel, whatever you want to call it, to the Halloween movies, this one is like a step backwards in my opinion. Like I do not like kills. There are parts of it that I really do like, but I hate all the Tommy stuff, and I hate most of the mob stuff. Anytime they say how evil dies tonight makes me laugh really, really loud.
Tonight.
They say it a lot. If you took a shot every time they said "Evil dies tonight," you would be dead by the end of the movie. So maybe that's maybe that's maybe that's what Halloween Kills means in the end of it.
Well, I mean, I guess if you ate too much candy on Halloween, like Halloween could actually kill you.
Halloween, yeah.
Sorry, that
Which
was
is such a weird title for this. Yeah, it's a strange title for the movie too. It's like,
well, that
is
was
it? I mean, I guess it gets into what they're talking about of like personification of evil, and it's not like Michael Myers that kills. It's like the spirit of evil. I don't know.
yeah. I just thought of that joke. While watching this movie, I thought that was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson, what are your thoughts about this movie?
So I like it. I like it more than Eric does. I agree. The idea of it is really good. The idea that like this thing that happens to certain people on a certain night, it really happens to this whole town. And the way that it brings up the ire of the community and all of that. It's good in theory. In execution, it's pretty stupid. But as just an expression of pure slasher carnage, it's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah.
I'd agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And in honesty, like most of the mob stuff works pretty well if it had been like led by Allison instead of Tommy. Like I just don't understand the character of Tommy. Like it's supposed to be this,
I get that, but I really like Anthony Michael Hall's performance in
I do
this,
too.
So,
but there's so much like I don't know. It's from the time he takes the bat on, which is like 20 minutes in the movie.
Right.
But all that, like, it's just all that, like, posturing where, like, he stands up outside and he's looking. I'm just like, what's he doing? I don't know. None of it felt motivated character wise, other than just like, oh, he ran into him. He happened to be in the house where Michael Myers was. I don't know. I needed something else to like help tie it for me, but
fair.
Sure. This movie is stupid, but I love it. Like he basically turned to Jason Voorhees, and I think he topped his kill count with this movie alone.
It is the highest kill count, of any Halloween movie.
Yeah. Well, I just meant like as far as like the whole franchise, like Michael Myers. I think it exceeded Jason by at least 5 or 10 kills.
Oh,
I don't know, but I mean, Michael Myers kills like 30 people in this movie.
Yes. You could say anything about these movies. Like this one, the title tells you exactly what you're getting.
Right.
If you show up for that, you're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah. I love the intro when it picks up right after the 1978 film. When
all that stuff looked great.
Yeah, just off lawn. And the officer talked about how weird Michael was as a kid. And then, did you notice? I did not notice this, but did you notice that there are leaves on the trees as a tribute to the original? Because they filmed that in the middle of the summer in California.
Yeah, in California.
Yeah. I didn't notice that till watching this. Because I only this was my fourth time watching it, so it took me 4 times to notice that. And how crazy is it that the actor playing Dr. Loomis looked exactly like Donald Pleasence? Like
it's crazy. Like he already looked like him. They put a little bit of makeup you know, a few prosthetics, and then they had an impressionist do the voice.
Okay.
But it's uncanny. It's not a deep fake. It was all done practically.
It blew my mind when I saw it. I thought it was like stock, like footage that they had cleaned up because it was too clean for like 70s footage, and so like it was just like, what is going on? It looked wild. It was probably the most mind-blowing moment in any of these movies to me. It was like to see this guy play Loomis.
I honestly thought it was like de-aging effect or like a guy thing, but no, it was that was just crazy to me. And then I like how they just suit this whole movie like the original, especially that part where Michael's is standing out in the middle of his front yard, and then that shot at the last shot of the beginning, the intro for the first one, like it's just that freeze frame kind of thing, to kind of capture the effort and the scariness of this moment. Because honestly, those parents would have called the police at that point. But the reason why he did it like John Carpenter did it like that was the cat really capture like, oh shit, this is a little boy that just did this.
Yeah.
Kind of like, and that's what David Gordon Green does here. He's captured the bigness of this moment.
Sure. It's like a tableau. That idea that like everything's framed in this sort of like picturesque way. Yeah.
Plus, the guy that plays young Hawkins, he's very convincing as well. Like, I believe that's like Will Patton 40 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Hawkins, can we talk about his intro in the 2018 film when he's playing the Back to the Future pinball machine?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
But then he quotes Power of Love. Like, any credit card drive this train. I thought that was so funny. And the fact that they're both Universal property, or they're both Universal, and it's like, hey guys, look who else we own Back to the Future. Just that you didn't know. You've probably been to the Back to the Future ride at Universal Studios a long time ago.
Product placement all over this.
We own Back to the Future. Just so you know, we own Back to the Future. Just so you know, we own Back to the Future. Oh,
God.
One more.
Say Back to the Future one more time.
Back to the Future.
Okay. Quota met. Let's move on.
I love that. I love that movie. Do you think it's weird that the adult Tommy Doyle is played by the nerdy kid from Breakfast Club, Anthony Michael Hall?
No, because he played the villain in Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, but he plays those villains now. It's so weird.
Yeah,
the nerdy kid from
know.
Breakfast Club is playing like these mean characters.
Well, and this is talking about a movie I've never seen. I've never seen Curse of Michael Myers, but Paul Rudd played that character in that movie, and they offered this role to him, but he was making something else and couldn't do it, so they gave it to Anthony Michael Hall.
Man, I would have liked to have seen a Paul Rudd do that character.
Right? Yeah, sounds awesome,
like
right?
Having like a cameo in the background, that'd be pretty cool.
Now you're just like creating like alternate timelines. Like now it's a multiverse. If Paul Rudd
Michael Myers multiverse,
and we've already got Paul Rudd in Quantum Mania. We don't need another Paul Rudd multiverse. It's too much.
Yeah. That'd be pretty awesome. I can imagine like a fan film of Michael Myers finding Ant-Man, and he shrinks to the size of an ant, and he's like on Michael Myers' shoulder, and he goes, "It's a small world after all." And then Michael Myers is looking around, and he's like, "Right down here, I'm Captain Kirk," because he knows the mask.
We have gone on some bizarre flights of fancy on this show, but you have just taken it to a whole different level.
That'd be funny. That'd be a funny moment.
Okay.
Yeah. And it would be really funny if, like in this fan film, Ant-Man goes, "Hey, don't you look familiar?" You're referencing the Paul Rudd being in Curse of Myers.
And then the tiny little ashes from Evil Dead show up and go, "My fair lady." So, okay. Why not at this point?
Pop them all in.
All right. Anyway, guys, we need to stay focused. Stay focused. Stay focused.
This is gonna be like last week's episode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My
Sorry,
AirPods are
everyone.
gonna run out of juice.
Yeah.
I love how the lady on the news says that this used to be a safe place and is not anymore. And I'm like, well, it wasn't in 1978.
Mm. Mm.
But
But she's talking like,
Michael Myers has been locked up for 40 years.
Yeah, I know. I was just kind of making a joke there.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, you didn't know about that? The possibility of him coming back?
I do have a question about the significance of the bat old Huckleberry, is that play any significance in the greater Michael Myers storyline? Is that an Easter egg for something?
I don't know.
I don't think
either.
so.
I
No.
saw it and I was just like, yeah, okay. Just wondering if anyone else knew.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if the story of Huckleberry Finn or Tom Sawyer connects to that either. Or the Halloween and all. Except for fences. There tend to be a lot of fences in Michael Myers in Halloween movies.
Pretty sure he kills someone on a fence in one of them.
Yeah, the
Like
last
impales
one.
them.
Yeah, in the last one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one.
Oscar.
But I'm pretty sure there's a different one too. I'm pretty sure it's like a white picket fence. Maybe I'm thinking of a different movie. I don't
The
know.
Virgin
Keep going.
Suicides.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, the fact that they don't play
know,
Tom Sawyer by Russ.
Halloween, Virgin Suicides, they're almost the same movie.
I gotta say, I love the gay couple in this movie. I think they're awesome.
They're so charming. I love them.
And the
Big
fact
John and
Super
Little
charming.
John.
Yeah, and I love how the Silver Shamrock masked kids like mess with them.
Yeah.
Saying that one of their kids or one of their friends had a lighter blade in their mouth so they can sneak inside and get the other candy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Sorry, keep going.
No, and
I was just saying it's a sorry. It's a fun way to get a bunch of exposition out of the way too, that they live in Michael Myers' house. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and I like how they're telling the kids the story of Michael Myers. And they're like, have you ever heard of Michael fucking Myers? 40 years ago, he stabbed his sister in the tits. Ew!
Yeah, I like that they're so frustrated with these children at this point. They're just like, fuck it. We're just going to start cursing at them.
Yeah. And sometimes, when the wind blows just right, you hear his name. Michael. Now get out of there, you little perverts!
It's a nice little moment. It's a great little moment.
Yeah. Well,
the touch I love on this scene is when Little John gets out a big knife and Big John gets out a little knife.
Gets out a little knife. Yes.
Yeah, that's very funny. Now this scene did spark the scene after this when they when he killed both of them did spark some controversy. Again, this wasn't everybody, in this community, but there was a small majority that complained about the scene, saying that he discriminated against gay people because he killed the gay couple. I'm like, no, he's Michael Myers. He didn't care what your sexual orientation is, what this color of skin is. Like, he's gonna kill you.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, well, I even
they're also living in his house. Yeah.
Say what you will about Michael Myers, he is not discriminatory at all.
Yeah, except for babies.
He'll kill you
he
no
kills
matter what.
everyone equally.
Yeah, except for babies.
Children, well, they have to be of a certain age, probably like 13, and then he'll snap their neck in a car.
He kills a kid in the first one.
Yeah,
we didn't talk about that, but yeah.
Well, during the Wonder shot in the last one, like he walked right past that baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess babies are safe.
Yeah. Well,
everyone else is fair game.
Well, the thing is, I used to work with a gay guy who loved horror movies. He had this, and when I told him about this, he hadn't seen this movie at that point. I told him about that controversy. And he's like, "Yeah, that's stupid." And so he's in that community, and even he recognized that was kind of ridiculous.
Sure.
I mean, everybody's gonna have a quibble about everything at some point. So, and I don't disrespect their quibbles.
Mm.
I gladly listen to them because, there's always something to learn.
Yeah.
The thing I've heard about this whole sequence is that it's two straight actors doing sort of gay stereotypes.
Yeah.
I see that way more than I see the other
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But I personally think, I've known a lot of gay guys like that, and I find them charming. So, but it's fine if somebody doesn't like this scene. That's fine.
Yeah.
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 I just think it's really. I think there's other stuff to complain about other than that.
Like all of the terrible acting and dialogue in this movie, especially from some of the characters.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, that too. But I just meant like as far as like as far as like homophobia stuff go, there's way more stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Instead of
Sure.
Michael
Yeah,
Myers killing a gay couple, where he killed everybody. He did not care. at all.
Yeah.
I did think it was kind of ridiculous. Let's talk about the firefighter scene because that was pretty.
Oh God, that's rad.
The way that he like grips that hammer or that pickaxe, dude, I thought I was watching a freaking Fast and Furious movie with Vin Diesel. That's how ridiculous it was.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. Yeah, it's pretty wild for like just the way it's lit and everything with like the house on fire behind them, and then like all
And that's
these
a
like
real
guys.
house that they set on fire.
Oh wow!
They only had so much time to shoot this scene because the house would burn all the way down.
That's wild.
They had like an hour to shoot all of this stuff.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, and I just like the part. I think it was inside the house, but when he takes out the firefighter like through his helmet, and that the POV of the helmet, that was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Was that in inside or outside? Was it both? Did he do that twice then? It was definitely one outside when he like goes through it and he falls over, and because they cut back that shot like 3 times. I couldn't remember. I know he like messes that guy's head up in the basement. Like you see it like cave in on itself.
Also, a lot of those guys are real firefighters.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to add or talk about before we get to the least favorite part and least favorite part?
I mean, we need to talk about what's his name. Oh, I can't think of it. The guy that they think is Michael Myers in the hospital, even though he is clearly not Michael Myers.
Like a tiny egg-shaped man. He looks like Danny DeVito from Batman Returns. He's supposed to be like they've mythologized it. That's the part like that whole sequence with Tommy and everything are the part of this movie that I like drives me kind of crazy is because they've mythologized him like Michael Myers so much that he's like this big thing in the community, and then they're just like, I think it's this bald guy running around in a white coat. Get him. None of that makes sense to me.
I guess the only reason I can justify that is because like their anger is so great that they're all logic that goes out. Like anybody in this hospital guy.
Yeah, and that's valid because that kind of stuff happens. Like
yeah, but then it's for that.
I know we don't get political on this show, but like if you think about the sort of political discourse that's going on in this country right now, like everybody is creating their own boogeymen. And I think that's what this movie is trying to get at. It's silly, but it's not invalid.
Yep. I won't say that there are a lot of great ideas, even in the movies, even in these that like I don't like. What's this one in particular is not my favorite one. There's still always interesting themes and ideas going on simultaneously with it, which is always nice for any horror movie because sometimes they're just lowest common denominator, like Halloween Resurrection. You know what I mean? Like, so this is like a welcome refreshment by comparison.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, if you want like pure carnage, this is your Halloween movie. Like
100%.
Everybody dies.
Like, and it's all building towards that, which is probably what a lot of people's quibbles were with the last movie. Is that like, Michael only killed like 10 people. You know what I mean? Like they're like, all right.
Well,
40.
we'll get to
We're gonna
that
make it 40.
very soon. But like when people say that about ends, that's my argument. It's like, what? You didn't see kills?
Yeah.
That's like 3 Halloween movies all mashed into one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this movie is weird too. It's basically borrows that subplot from Halloween 4. So Halloween 4, there's like a whole mob in Halloween 4 that goes after Michael Myers. And they don't do
Yeah.
well. Obviously, they all get killed, but like I do like what they do with that subplot here versus in that movie, which was just kind of a throwaway mob
Yeah.
thing. At least this one's a little more thoughtful about it.
Of course, what it sacrifices are, the main characters all get sidelined.
Yeah, 100%. Except for
Laurie's
I
in the
guess Allison
hospital.
would be the only one.
Allison's there, but she doesn't really do
Yeah.
much.
She
Aside
rides
from
around
at
in
the
the
very
car.
end, she rides around in the car.
Yeah.
I do like all that stuff with like her
Yeah.
and Cameron and Lonnie
Yeah.
and Nurse, what's her name from the first movie. That's really good stuff. The whole playground scene, that's fun.
It is fun. It is completely ridiculous. It gets my biggest laugh comes from that scene. It's the nurse who gets kicked by the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's a doctor. Her husband's a nurse, but they're
right. Well, she's
Halloween
playing the nurse in the movie. Yes.
Opposite. Yes.
They're also Easter egged in the first movie, which I didn't realize until
yeah.
rewatching them again.
Yeah, they're in the oneer. Yep.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. So, anything else you want to talk about before we move on, or?
No, I think we covered it.
I think we got it.
Yeah.
There's way more to talk about with the next movie.
Yeah, for sure. Jackson, what is your favorite part, least favorite part?
Favorite part? It's got to be the scene where he's killing all the firemen. Like, it's just so, it's so visually. Like, if nothing else, this movie takes the slasher to an epic level.
Yeah.
And this scene totally does that. Like I said, they set a real house on fire. They employed actual firefighters as extras / fodder.
Right.
And it's just awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this, on a side note, before I get to your least favorite part, Jackson, this was my first Halloween movie in theaters, and it was worth it being my first one for sure, because this is an entertaining movie. And like I said during our best and worst movie theater experience we're having on, I just had a good memory of this. Like, it was packed, like the audience was a good audience for this. Anyways, what is your least favorite part about this movie, Jackson?
The least favorite part, it's the fact that Laurie Strode spends the whole movie in the hospital.
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. She'd been stabbed several times. But yeah, she's the best part of these movies, and they just sideline her. So
yeah. Eric, favorite part, least favorite part?
Least favorite part is it's kind of just a mixed bag, like kind of what Jackson was talking about. Is that we're kind of just spread in too many different places. And so like you got Laura in the hospital, then you've got Tommy out doing his thing, and then you've got Allison over here doing it, then you've got Little John and Big John, and then and there's like no one to really kind of root for after a while, and it's just kind of like, and then you've got the whole thing with the mob at the hospital, and it feels like a mixed bag that should have been like refocused a little bit. Like if Allison had been leading in the mob, and then or something, I don't know. But it feels like you're right though. The Allison does get a little sidetracked, and then I don't know. It just feels like a mixed bag to me. There's some good stuff. There's some bad stuff. It's my least favorite of these three.
All right, and what's your favorite part?
The opening, the 78. All that sort of stuff. All that stuff's great. The Loomis throwback. This is wonderful. I love Jim Cummings, who's a director in his own right. He made like The Wolf of Snow Hollow and Thunder Road, and he's great in it. It's good stuff. It's nice. It's fun. He's the cop who gets shot.
Oh, okay.
Or Hawkins shoots him by accident. Which is nice too. Like all that stuff, all that character building with like Hawkins and this is nice. Although they don't do anything with it. Like you know what I
No.
mean? Like it's just kind of like
Hmm.
they build all this stuff and then it just kind of like bleh.
And this isn't to be confused with the voice actor Jim Cummings. This is a different Jim Cummings.
Yeah. This different guy.
Yeah, for sure. My favorite part would have to be the playground hide and seek scene. I think that was
Yeah.
so fun. It's like, you guys, you're not scary. Come on, we can see you.
Yeah.
His reactions to that.
And of course, the tribute to the masks from Halloween 3.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that again. I want to see them explore that some more.
Mm.
What is your least favorite part? Or my least favorite part would be Tommy Doyle recognizing the other inmate as Michael Myers.
Mhm.
That's stupid.
Oh, yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. Favorite kill, Eric?
Oh, it's not my favorite kill, but it's the one I feel the most.
Hmm.
And it's the I can't remember if it's Big John or Little John. I think it's Big John.
It's
And he
Big
gets like
John.
he gets stabbed in
Yeah.
the armpit, and it's like I these movies people get stabbed and beat
Hmm.
and all that sort of stuff, and it's usually in the head or it's in places like oh the chest and like getting stabbed in the armpit, like oh
Armpit.
it's just man, it was like I felt it. I was like oh
And then he puts out his
ow.
eyes.
Yeah, just like squeezes them right out. And so that's probably my favorite one because it's like the most guttural to me.
Yeah.
But the Gardor gun one is my one I laugh at the most.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. The lady a couple seats to the right of me was saying, "Dang, he's probably thinking I don't have to try anymore." I thought that was
Kicking
funny.
doors. Yeah.
Yeah. What is your favorite kill, Jackson?
It's got to be the firefighter that gets hoisted on the. I can't remember what that tool is called, but it's like a hatchet,
Like
crowbar,
a pick,
hammer.
yeah.
It's called like a halberd or
Hmm.
something. I can't remember what it's called, but
That one's pretty gnarly.
when he lifts him up, like that is epic. Yeah, that is Michael Myers at peak form.
My favorite kill would have to be in that same scene when the firefighter gets the saw to the neck. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that was pretty sick. That was some Evil Dead stuff, but not as gory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
It's still pretty gory.
it's still awesome. It's not as bloody because like if it was an Evil Dead movie, like blood would be splurting everywhere, spurting
That's
everywhere.
true. It'd be raining blood. There would be blood pouring from
Yeah.
the streets. Yeah.
It's raining blood. Hallelujah.
somebody would be down in the basement going, "Dead by dawn, dead by dawn."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or it could be Raining Blood by Slayer.
Or Raining Blood by Slayer.
why not?
Rating, Eric?
This one's like a 2 for me. Maybe
Okay.
2.5. It's not as bad as I remember it being. I watched the first time, I was just like, oh, this is terrible. So it's probably I'd say about 2.5.
Okay. Jackson.
So my intellectual brain wants to sort of side with Eric, but I'm going to go with my lizard brain, and I'm going to give it a 4.
I'm
I
gonna go.
mean, if you want to see Michael Myers killing some people, this is that movie. So
Okay, yeah, that's true. In terms of Halloween movies, you're right. It is a 4 because it does exactly what it says it's going to do.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 3.5. Yeah, this movie's stupid as hell, but this is so much entertaining. And I think Joe Broderick said this, and I think other people said this too. The worst thing a movie can be is boring, and this movie's not boring.
Right. It's not boring.
It's true.
Yeah.
Never stops. Yeah.
All right. One last film, and then we're done with reviewing movies for October. Very exciting.
man.
So close.
What a movie to end on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Halloween ends.
Yeah, we're about to wind down the Halloween season. Here in a little bit. But so we got the plot summary for Halloween Ends according to IMDb as saga of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode comes to a spine-chilling climax in the final installment of this trilogy.
I mean, I guess that describes the end of the movie, basically.
Now this is a unique movie because it's the first movie that me and you watched, Derek, in theaters.
This is the first one we saw in theaters, was it?
No, it
Was
was.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he came over to drop off Dawn of the Dead, and we got to talking, and we're like, "Hey, let's go see Halloween together when it comes out."
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were very upset when we saw this movie in
Yeah, and I
theaters.
do that all the time, Eric. I really do. I get mad at movies, and then I hear people
Okay.
reviews, and then I watch the movie again. I change my mind. I always I
Oh,
do that a lot. It's
that's fair. That's fair. It is a very decisive movie,
hmm.
just in general. Yeah. Halloween ends.
Yep, I do love the intro because the Watching the Thing, which is one of the tributes to John
Mm,
Carpenter I was telling you about, and there's another one that we'll
mm-hmm,
get to.
mm, mm-hmm.
A little later.
Yeah, showing a little kid the thing.
Yeah, you gotta be
That's messed
fucking
up.
kidding me.
Which, I mean, they're watching the original thing in the original Halloween. Like they're
That's
watching the
true.
thing on
That's
like a
true.
Howard Hawks
But that one
thing.
is
So
way more kid friendly.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's not as good. I tried to watch that movie a number of years ago. I've been into it.
Thematically and acting wise, it holds up pretty well. But like as far as the monster being scary, no, it's just like a vegetable man who's stuck in the ice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess we kind of got your quick thoughts, Eric. When did your quick thoughts,
Hmm.
Jackson?
So the day this came out, this is one I didn't see it in theaters. I saw the other two in theaters, but this one came out the same day on Peacock. And I got up that morning and I saw it was there. I was like, I'm gonna watch this.
Here we go.
And then the whole day went by, and my roommate, who she had seen in like maybe the first one of these and maybe the first two, but we had watched the trilogy together over the last week or two when this came out. And she was like, "Do you want to watch Halloween Ends?" And I was like, "Yes." So I watched it twice in one day, the day
Nice.
it came out.
Nice.
I love this movie. Like, I love it without any caveats or qualifications. I love it. It's my favorite Halloween movie
Of all time.
of the whole series. Yes.
Okay. See, I want to love it as some people do. It's the fact that I can't. I like Corey. I like where they went with that. I don't like how like they did too late. They should have introduced them in the last film. They should have set it up. If you're gonna again, like I said off pod, the first one, they probably didn't know that they were gonna do sequels to this. I understand that. But when you're doing two with the intent of doing a third one and making it trilogy, you need to set that up. I'm sorry. And
I mean, they
it's not
also
three
didn't
out
set
of
up.
one.
They didn't set up one of the other kids in the last one. The what's his name's dad? Not Tommy. What's the other one's kid?
Lonnie?
What's the other one's name? Lonnie. Lonnie's like
Cameron's dad. Yeah.
yeah, Cameron's dad. They didn't set him up at all. Like he's barely in the original movie, like in like one scene.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's different. That's a small part of that movie. This is
Okay,
the
that's
whole
fair.
movie that Corey
Okay.
is the killer.
Drew, I
This
hear
is my
you.
opinion.
You make sense. I don't care.
Well, I care because I care
I
about
know.
consistency and setting things up in a trilogy. If I'm going to be invested in a series of movies like this, then you need to pay stuff off. If you're going to kill off almost everybody in your last film and then leave it on downer ending, and then you give us this Corey Cunningham stuff that's out of the blue. I like the concept of it. I really do. I like what that whole commentary. That's not the problem. I thought that was handled really good. The fact that they just threw it in there without setting any of that up. I'm sorry. I can't. It's hard.
Okay.
To be honest, I kind of like that they just threw it in there, especially since the last one was so what it was. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Halloween Kills. Michael Myers shows up and he
And
kills a
as
bunch of
always,
people.
the show turns into Jackson and Eric versus Drew.
Right.
Sorry, Drew.
And that's the thing. I'm glad you love it. I'm glad that you love that they just threw it in there. It's just for me. It's like, okay, here's how I will describe this.
Okay.
Infinity War. You have Thanos
Mhm.
being a complete badass.
Mhm.
And then you had that downer ending in Infinity War. And then the
Mhm.
next movie, you barely give it Thanos. It's some other villain that they made up or some sort of obscure Marvel villain that's going to be the Thanos of that movie. That's what I would equate that to if they did that without any sort of setup in the beginning. I think that's where I'm coming from. It was cool.
Mm.
I love the commentary that evil takes shape. If you had that in mind, just I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing about slasher movies is they have new protagonists all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just part of the genre, except for Scream. But even Scream's done it. Um,
There's still like supporting characters that come in around
but
Sydney at all points
but
too. Yeah.
but what's cool about this movie is the protagonist is also kind of the villain of the movie.
Yeah, and that's cool. It's just, and I think, and it's nothing against Rowan Campbell. I think he did an excellent job in this movie.
Yeah.
He definitely had that evil like slasher, like kind of emo kind of vibe to him. Like I love that. Like a good version of Bully McGuire from Spider-Man 3.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think he has a
Dun,
good
dun,
turn from like
dun.
wholesome out. Yeah, too. Like it's nice
Yeah.
because he starts very wholesome at the top of the movie. Like he goes to
Yeah,
get the
he's a sweet
beer, but then
kid.
he's like, I'm gonna put it back. I'm gonna get the chocolate milk instead. He's like
Hmm.
super nice and
Yeah.
yeah, like all the his whole turn is super fun and
Right.
unexpected. And it's like surprisingly sweet and romantic at times. It's a weird
Hmm.
movie that's kind of amazing that they got
Yeah.
away with making it.
Hmm. And I will say, it is kind of crazy how last year we got 2 horror movies with some of the most shocking death scenes. This one is Jeremy, and then Nope, which Gordy's death. Like it just comes out of the blue. Like it's real.
Oh man.
Yeah, for
Last
sure.
year was a really good horror year.
Oh, yeah, for
It was a
sure.
good year.
And like I said last time, or during our review of the first film earlier, love Laurie's and Allison's relationship
Yes.
because, like I said, she did not have a lot of meaningful relationships or any meaningful relationship in her life. Speaking about Laurie,
Yeah.
not until that fateful night in 2018 that brings her and her daughter and the other kid that her friend babysit together.
Hmm.
And she's doing the classic grandma things, decorating for Halloween and baking a pumpkin pie and just
Hmm.
being, real embracing and being encouraging and loving to your grandma.
Yeah.
And it's sad that it took that night for the finally move past Michael Myers. But oh no,
Yeah.
this Corey Cunningham kid comes into the picture, all googly eyed over my granddaughter, and he's a serial killer. So I gotta deal with
Hmm.
this crap again. And then the end of the movie, where Officer Hawkins gives her a month of vegetable to get out of that whole conversation in the grocery store, and they sit on the porch together. And before this, she's finishing her book, and she says, "Even though I killed the boogeyman, evil still takes shape.
Hmm.
No matter what, so it's that's saying that you can get rid of your inner demons, but there's still going to be evil and hatred in this universe.
Yeah.
That's one, but also love. The love that Laurie has towards her granddaughter, and vice versa,
Yeah.
and also the relationship with Hawkins. And they ended on another tribute to John Carpenter's original with "Don't Fear the Reaper." I thought that was an
Hmm.
excellent touch.
Yeah,
Because
and it works thematically with the story too. Yeah.
well, because
Hmm.
like it's all about not fearing death.
Hmm.
it's like a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing, and that's kind of where the Hawk and Laurie thing kind of comes in. It's like, hey, we don't have to fear the boogeyman anymore. Like, we conquered it. Yeah, there's still going to be, we're still going to have the trauma of it, and there's still going to be murder just in general in the world. But like, I face my own personal demons, and I can have meaningful relationships now. It's really pretty beautiful, despite my one issue with that whole them just
I
doing.
feel like you're talking yourself into it right now. I feel like you're talking into liking it.
No, I'm doing like a
Tell us
reverse.
more, Drew.
I'm doing a reverse compliment sandwich here.
Okay.
Well, no, I did do a compliment sandwich. I said I like the commentary of Corey Cunningham.
Mm-hmm.
Then I like how they introduced him too late into the trilogy, and then I'm saying all this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now take a big old bite.
Yeah.
Isn't it good?
I do want to ask you this, and this is my third John Carpenter kind of ode that I noticed in this movie. The radio station. It's a bit of an ode to John Carpenter's The Fog. Maybe not maybe on purpose, maybe not now.
Yeah.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. That kill was cool. I love that with the tongue.
Darcy the male girl.
Oh yeah.
Works there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't recognize her the first time. Because the first time I watched this movie, I was just so upset about how the direction was going in. But now,
so bad. Drew and I saw this in theaters, Jackson, and so Drew was so mad by that point in the movie.
Yeah, I just need to let go. Like, it's not just watch the movie. And of course, if the movie's bad, it's bad. But I just need to let go and let.
No, it's true. Well, I mean, I don't like Kills is not my favorite of the Halloween movies. It's still fun. Like you still like have to like you laugh at it. But you laugh with it too. I don't know.
You're not completely innocent, so you can't get on me for that incident watching this movie.
Yeah, but I thought, I don't know. You got pretty mad.
Yeah, but I got to hang out with you. We hung about Spirit Halloween, and that was fun.
Of course. Yeah. No, it was always fun. And I think Halloween Ends is a great way to spend an afternoon watching a Halloween movie.
Yeah, it was
it's got a little bit for everybody. If you're like, Halloween movies, they're too violent and there's not enough character development or romance, this one's got it for you. Yeah. It's got like elements of like Wild at Heart in it. There's some like Wong Kar-wai stuff and they're like driving a motorcycle. There's some like weird cinema history things in here. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful
It's really
trip.
It's like an early David Gordon Green movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if y'all have seen like George Washington or especially All the Real Girls. This is like if All the Real Girls was a slasher movie.
Yeah.
And I am absolutely here for it. All the Real Girls is one of the most beautiful, like low-key, like chill romance movies I've ever seen. And I haven't seen it in so long, but I still like feel it in my heart when I think about it. And this is where I started with David Gordon Green. Right. And he's finally done it again because he's made a lot of movies. And I haven't seen a lot of them. He's made some really bad movies. He made Your Highness. He made The Sitter. Like he's made some really stupid comedies. He's made so many movies. But when I think of David Gordon Green, I think of George Washington first. And then I think of All the Real Girls.
Right. If you think about it, this movie's kind of a beautiful tragedy.
It really is.
Because you got Corey, who accidentally killed the kid he was babysitting.
Yeah.
And people are just up his ass about it. And it's not until this Halloween party they just cuts loose. And it's interesting that it's a punk song. Because punk music is all about, being, free.
Yeah.
Just letting loose. And just, just forgetting about the world. And just rock and music in general is all about that. So I thought it was the perfect song. I do find it weird that the band geeks are picking on a 20-something-year-old.
Yeah. That's weird.
It's a bit of a
Because
stretch, but yeah.
I had a lot of band geek friends in high school, and they weren't mean people.
No.
They were sweet.
They like to
Yeah.
play music.
Yeah.
Enjoy life. Yeah.
But what this movie really makes me think, you know, if Halloween Kills is about how evil dies tonight, this movie is like, how is evil born?
Right.
Where does it come from?
If people
What
discuss
are
it,
the
something.
specific equations and, you know, chemical combinations that create this in a person? And I don't think this movie answers that, because I don't really think that has an answer. But this movie at least makes a decent go of it.
Right.
And none of the other Halloween movies do this. Like, it's just Michael Myers, he's evil, that's it.
Yeah.
He stabs people.
Well, the answer question.
This movie like really takes its time digging into what can happen inside of a person to drive them to do stuff like this.
What,
Between external and internal factors too. Things out of your control, within your control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
that's why it's my favorite.
The answer to your question.
It is. Yeah. It's a bit myth. What? Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now, the answer to your question, Jackson, I think it's people's frustration about like tragedy and trauma.
Sure. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be trauma. Sometimes it's just frustration. Like, you know, anybody seen Falling Down?
Yeah.
That guy doesn't have any real trauma. He's just frustrated.
Just super frustrated. Frustrated Michael Douglas for 90 minutes.
Yeah, because Miss Allen saw her kid die
with a rocket launcher.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Miss Allen saw her kid die in this movie. And instead of having any sort of sympathy towards Corey for it being an accident, which it was, it very much was. She freaks out on him and said, "No, but you did it on purpose, you little shit." Basically, like,
yeah.
But I mean, that's the inverse of what Laurie is in this movie too. She's gone through so much stuff, and she's been able to finally move past it, I think, which is what her change in character is at this point, because she's lost her daughter too. So I think that's the yin and yang between those two characters in this sort of push-pull on Corey. Which I have a question
too. Like, people attack her too.
That's true. That's true too. That scene where Corey is in the house and he's laying on the floor, and then Laurie is there at the chair. Is she really there? Is that a hallucination for him? I don't know. It feels weird where it's at in the movie.
It is really weird. Yeah.
And then she just disappears.
How would
like
she
Michael
know
Myers
he was there?
Exactly. And it's a change in character for her too. Yeah. I don't know.
I think she's there.
Yeah.
She's there. I think that's his psychosis at work. Yeah. I never thought about that before you said it, but now I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
This movie has many layers, Drew. If you start pulling them back like an onion, you really start to see the beauty in the middle of it.
Yeah, it just, honestly, it's really, the only thing I just have the biggest problem with is how they set up Corey. That's the only issue I have with this movie. Like, a big issue.
Okay.
These movies do like 3 separate fan fictions that got filmed, in my opinion.
They do a little bit.
They're all 3 different movies.
The first 2, like Halloween and Halloween Kills, feel the most complementary to each other. This one does feel different from the others. But to me, I like that. I prefer that it feels different, that it's not the same over and over.
Right.
But I do agree with you. They do feel like they all feel a little disjointed from one another.
Right. And I do want to say something just real quick that I just thought of. The day after, or it was either the day of or the day after I saw this movie, I basically wrote on the Horror Sci-Fi Beyond Facebook page, well, the David Gordon Green trilogy was good while it lasted. And I want to apologize for making that. Because I let my anger, which is the theme that these movies talk about, get in the way. And not really look at it at a critical angle. Because I don't think it entirely ruins it. It just feels a little disconnected a bit, because you don't set things up. I know you beat a dead horse with that.
It's a
I
wild
got
swing.
Yes,
Yeah.
it
yeah.
is a wild swing.
I do want to apologize for that.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, I know I
You're
didn't
fine.
say
Yeah.
offend anybody, but I just want to say that my thoughts aren't that now.
Hmm.
About this
That's
movie.
fair.
I definitely kind of came apart, and you know, I'll before I make bold statements like that about a particular movie, I will be more critical about it and think and not to post something about something based off emotion because I want to be as completely honest with you and candid with you as possible.
Sure.
And
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
you're
yeah,
in
but
this.
go ahead.
oh yeah, and that's
I
my
was just going to say, yeah. Go ahead.
you know that's my
I
message
was,
with this. I'm sorry. I'm
sorry,
on a roll right now with this.
sorry. It's okay. It's okay. Keep going.
No, that's honestly that's my message statement. I just want to be honest with
Mm.
you, and I don't think I was completely honest with you with that. With that
What I was gonna say is like your feelings coming out of a movie are valid.
Mm,
Like,
Yes. Yes.
like there's nothing wrong with that.
right.
It's just a matter of can you examine those feelings, and maybe they don't change, maybe
Well,
they do, but your feelings coming out of a movie are valid.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think I get that, but I think when me and you, Eric, did our
Mm-hmm.
out of theater thoughts about this movie,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a little bit more nuance to that. I was still had a
Mm.
visceral reaction to everything, but there was more nuance to it. I think
Mm.
my post was a little bit too wasn't which is there was no context to that, and
Sure.
I think
I
that's
wouldn't.
why I feel
I
bad.
wouldn't sweat it. Yeah. No, I wouldn't
No,
sweat it if I were
don't.
you. I wouldn't let it get you down. There's plenty of movies that I hate walking out of the theater or like having watched. Uh, just earlier, Kills. I hated Kills first time I watched it. Watch it again. Not bad. So, I mean, I've said it before. I did not like Kills. There's plenty of movies that I don't like that upon reevaluation, you change your mind, you grow, you get older, you like see things you didn't see the first time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you guys want to talk about anything else before we get to the favorite part, least favorite part?
Hmm.
Oh, I feel like I had something I was going to say. I don't remember what it was now.
I mean, this is the only Halloween movie to date that's made me cry.
Mm.
Like I bawled like a baby at the end. Just the satisfaction of seeing Laurie's resolution by
Mm.
putting putting Michael into that like car crusher or whatever it is and watching his skull collapse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the way she's writing her book at the end, like, because you love this character, you want the best for her, and the best for her is watching her
Tormentor.
stalker's skull.
Yeah.
Yeah, her
Yeah.
tormentor. That's a better word.
Yeah.
Watching his skull collapse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
That's cool, man. That's yeah, I definitely had a pretty visceral reaction. Not like while I was crying, but like I had it. This movie had a powerful effect on me. Watching it today, I've
Mm.
recorded this. Eric,
I'm an easy cry. So
do you want to say anything, Eric?
About the movie in general, this isn't least favorite things, right? This is just normal, say
yeah,
whatever
this
I
is
want to say.
regular thoughts. Yep.
I will say this. I thought this initially, and I kind of thought it again today. Um, but what if the end of the movie where she fights Michael Myers is the beginning of this movie? So if that whole scene happens at the beginning of this, and then we start the whole Corey of Cunningham thing after that, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just to me that I would be interested to see that movie if it didn't have Michael Myers and the
Sure.
Corey Cunningham stuff, but the mask was there, the personification of evil or whatever. I don't know. But I'm watching that again. That just popped back up in my mind. And I was just like, I wonder if the last one, if it had ended basically the same night almost or whatever. She goes hunting down Michael Myers, she kills him, and then now she can move on with her life. But evil keeps coming into it, sort of thing. I don't know. It may be too much, but
Yeah.
But then you don't get the fun Corey Michael team up.
it's true. You're right. You don't get that. Show me how you do it.
Right?
Okay, so what is your favorite part, Jackson, and your least favorite part?
My favorite part is Corey and Allison on the motorcycle.
Dang it, that was my favorite
Uh,
part. That's fine. Keep
it's
going.
just
It's your yeah.
it's beautiful. It's like, and there's already some messed up stuff going on in the movie at this point, but I just want them to be okay. I want Corey to be okay. He's not, but I want that for him. And that shot is just a little glimpse of what it would be like for him to be okay.
Yeah, and you see him as a real human, unlike Michael Myers.
Right.
Even more sad.
Yeah.
Man, cause how I had these movies in my order was released in the order of release date. So 18 be my favorite, 2018 be my favorite, Kills be my second favorite, and this being my third favorite. This might be my second favorite, honestly, of the trilogy.
Nice.
Moving up the list.
And which is your least favorite part, Jackson?
Least favorite part. I don't have one. I don't have one for you. Sorry.
You're good, man. It's all good.
I can't think of anything.
Yeah,
the band kids bullying 20-something. That's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your favorite part, least favorite part?
Favorite part, I really, outside of the motorcycle scene, I really like the opening of the movie. I like how it plays with audience expectations. Because like you, Drew, like everyone going into it, we expected a Michael Myers movie. And so it's always leaving you with that anticipation of like, oh, the knife's not on the counter anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it's that little tease that's a lot of fun watching it the first time. So I like that. I appreciate that whole opening bit. And it's the most shocking murder death in any of these movies.
Yeah.
Of any of them. Like any of them. Like it is the most like out of the blue, but like visceral. I don't know. It's good. Least favorite part, the early on the some of the, and I it gets there like what Jackson was talking about with her writing the book, but early on some of that book writing stuff with Laurie is a little too on the nose. It's a classic like trope to like get a bunch of exposition character internal monologue out by like having them write a book. And I thought it was like a little on the nose, but that's a minor complaint. It's a minor complaint in the bigger scheme of things.
I would say my favorite part, like you, is the intro. I thought that was so cool. The subversion of expectations. My least favorite part again is not them setting up Corey a little bit too late in the trilogy. I know again being a dead horse, but that's just again honesty. That's what we're all about on here. Is just being honest. Eric, to wrap this up, to begin the wrap up of this this October horror movie review series, I'm gonna let you do the honors and do the final kill, or no, do the final favorite kill.
Okay.
The first one to do it.
I'm gonna say it's Jeremy because it's the most shocking. It's the most shocking. Yeah, sorry. It is the most shocking of any of them, and it's great. It's surprising, and he kind of almost deserves it too. In the back of your mind, you're like, he deserved what he got because he was being a little jerk. So I don't know. I love it. It's good.
What about you, Jackson? What's your favorite? What's your favorite kill?
When I think about this movie, I do not think about the kills. Like, that's not what this movie is about. So I'm gonna cheat, and Drew, you can at me all day. I'm gonna pick Michael Myers going into the Crusher.
I mean, technically, it's a Michael Myers kill because he kills Michael Myers. Michael Myers dies.
Michael Myers dies. But if I can't have Jeremy, I'm taking Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Like, that is the most affecting moment outside of everything else that's going on in this movie.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, going back to letting,
and he's already dead, but yeah.
Yeah, I will say, going back to letting emotion cloud your better judgment. I did really like this scene in this story. I thought that was so cool when they're kind of gathering around because this is part of their legacy. It's Michael Myers, and I just thought that was
yeah.
they did that. My favorite kill is Corey stabbing that doctor several times with a knife. And that was
Yeah.
with the bag over his head. With I gotta say, now that I think about it, that has to be a tribute to Black Christmas. Another ode that I spotted.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, isn't there like a bag? Someone like gets
Mhm.
something by a bag in that movie.
It's been so long since I've seen that. I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, someone had suffocated and like left in the attic
Okay.
in like a clear plastic bag, so you can still see their face. It's really disturbing.
Okay.
So Captain, I gave Eric the honors to doing the first final kill of this video to end off the Halloween season. You get to do the first final rating of this Halloween review series or October review series this year. So what was your rating for this movie?
4.5.
Okay.
I love it. Yep.
Yeah. Eric, what about you?
Same. I was gonna say 4.5.
I'm gonna go 4.
Okay.
Yeah. It
Pretty
was
good.
definitely a 3, but just talking about it and thinking about just getting all my thoughts out of my head, like I like this movie now.
I knew you'd cover out, Drew. I knew you'd cover out eventually.
Yeah. Well, it said that you fucking taunted me that steelbook when I was in my denial stage of this movie.
Yeah.
I was on Christmas break. We were waiting to get seated at a seafood restaurant on our last night in Daytona, Florida for our Christmas vacation. And you freaking texted me that you bought the steelbook for this movie to taunt me. To stab, to dive in that fucking dagger in my ribcage.
Just
Bastard.
just warming you up to it. I just heating up the water so you could dip a toe in.
Yeah.
Now you like it. Now it's moving up your list.
I just have now I have such a personal connection with this movie for a couple different reasons because I saw this with you. We had a grand old time, and then I included it in my short film that I made. So I just feel like I'm kind of forced to like this movie now. Honestly, it's weird. It's really strange.
I mean, it's also just strange how things grow on you over time too. Like,
Yeah.
to be honest, did not like Anchorman the first time I saw it. I saw it like I didn't get it. I didn't get it, but like over time, it just slowly
That doesn't
grew
make
on
sense.
me.
So before I
Most
get
of the
to my
time, it
big
works every time.
Okay, speaking of Paul Rudd. So before we get to my big announcement for my October horror movie review series for next year, do you have a particular favorite moment of that shoot that we did? Like, if there's like any like behind the scenes thing that really sticks out.
I think the first shot is fairly impressive considering it's like a one-er shot, a long one too. So I think getting that on like the third take was a pretty good. Because about after the second one, I was like, after the first one, I was like, we're never gonna be able to do this. And then the second one, I was like, oh, we'll get this. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, you gotta remember it's not as complicated as what David Gordon Green did.
Yeah, but they had like people pulling focus. They had like people lighting. Like there was hundreds of people on that set. This is just you and me and your mom.
Right.
Trying to coordinate a car moving and you walking at the same
that was
time.
literally the hardest thing to coordinate with that car thing, and that was everything else was kind of a breeze. I felt like. My two favorite moments of that shoot was when we saw the backyard scene while I'm walking up to my aunt's house, and I see myself in the dressed up as Michael Myers in reflection of the glass of her door, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I looked scary. I generally look like Michael Myers, and that's just a testament of that costume. It is it's mask, spray painted white with blue overalls, and it's one of the scariest things ever.
It's unsettled. It's an unsettling image to see like someone, especially in the daylight, standing
Mm.
outside in like full Michael Myers regalia. It's like something's not right.
Right. And branching off of what you just said there, when we were about to do one of the Wonder Stop, another take of the Wonder Stop, one of my aunt's neighbors across the street literally said to us, "You're not scaring the kids, are you?" And
Mm,
you said, "I hope we're not." And
yep.
he said, "Well, isn't that the point?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I hope so. I hope we're doing this right." So, yeah, this is that. I don't know. That was kind of encouraging to me,
Yeah.
and
No, yeah.
I will say, doing that, really sparked up me wanting to pursue filmmaking.
Sure.
It is so much
Hmm.
fun. I just like the
Write
illusion
you
and the
something.
magic of this.
Yeah. It's amazing how things click together and how like an idea changes with an edit or without an
Yeah.
edit. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I'm always amazed by like the psychology behind like the motion image and like sort of the personification of things we put onto it. It's not really a chair; it's the image of a chair or it's the image of a person. But
Mm.
that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
I don't know. I love movies. I love talking about them.
yeah.
I
So
love
yeah,
making them. They're fun.
yeah, yeah. Awesome. Just one quick thing before we move on. I think a few
Hmm.
things are needed. I want
Hmm.
to say thank you, Eric,
Yeah,
for
you're welcome.
for like knowing my vision, um, and sticking with it as much as possible. Um, and being out that heat for like a good hour during that wonder shot. And that, cause I knew that
I
was
was in shorts. I was in shorts and a t-shirt. You were wearing
yeah, but
coveralls.
you have to book it too, following me.
I wasn't walking that
Yeah.
fast.
Um, and I want to say thank you, Aunt Nat, for letting me feel in your lovely home. Um,
They're very nice to us.
oh yeah, yeah, and thank you for being respectful to them.
Hmm.
I really do appreciate that.
Yeah,
And
of
respecting
course.
them and them wanting things to be a certain way and not match something not matched with it. I really appreciate that. Um, and I think the last thing I need to say is thank you, Mom, for being a part of this through a good amount of the process. You're there to edit my script or to take my outline and put it in script form. You're there for the costume process to iron out my Michael Myers suit and your costume and picking out your costume as well. Um, to spending a lot of your free time that you had to edit this movie. Um, and actually being in it. Because you did a really good job playing this character. Even though it was a brief scene, but you did an excellent job. And I just want to say thank you for sacrificing a lot of your time. Both you and Eric as well. Um,
Anytime.
yeah, the Cause cause literally the day after I saw Halloween Ends, I had this idea for this. And I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, we gotta make this because this is too good not to make again. Hopefully, the Scream one would be just as good, if not better.
Just gotta wait 3 years now to do it.
Yeah, but trust
Or you
me,
could just do it whenever you want and then just like, you know,
yeah, but
say
there's
it's
gonna be a lot more
for
planning.
the 34th anniversary. What now?
There's gonna be a lot of planning for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, there's that, and I guess we'll get to the announcement for next October.
Are we doing rankings of these? Are we
Oh, you
doing
want to rank them
like
real quick?
what do you rank your? I don't know. I was just wondering. We don't
I
have
mean,
to.
I
I'm
already
pretty
did
sure
mine.
anyone could guess. Pretty
Yeah,
sure we can guess how they're gonna shake out.
yeah. Mine is 2018. Ends and Kells,
Hmm.
and I think Jackson, you said is in reverse order. So like,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. So I spoke if I spoke for you.
No, it's fine. You're right.
And Eric,
Oh, mine's just ends,
yeah,
Green, and then kills way underneath that.
okay, sweet man. And there's that. We got done with all the movies we're reviewing. And with that being
Yeah.
said, here's the announcement for next year. Next year, I'm going to call this series 30 for 40. And what this is, it's going to be 2 horror movies, or horror type of movies, that turn 30, and 2 movies that turn 40 that we're going to reveal. So the 2 one that turned 30 is going to be The Crow and Interview with the Vampire. The 2 one that turned 40 is going to be A Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, and Friday the 13th, Part 4. So they both turned 40.
When you say 30 for 40, every time you say that, I always think you're going to review 40 movies in like 30 days. And I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I may need to work on the title for that, but
No, it's good.
I mean, keep people casting too, so there's that.
Hmm.
And then for our big Halloween special, for our first commentary on here, me and Eric, if you want to, Eric,
Sure.
we're reviewing the comedy classic Ghostbusters.
I love Ghostbusters. Oh, of course I'll do it. Like, what do you? No, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So yeah, we're doing a commentary for that, and I ain't no afraid of no commentary.
Mm-mm.
So
It's gonna be a
anyway,
long
guys, this video's been going on long enough, so I think it's time for the outro. So, as always, if you like this video or this episode, and you want to see more spooky and weird content, make sure you slash that subscribe button. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Horror, Sci-Fi, and Beyond. And also don't forget to leave a killer comment and give this episode a King Kong size thumbs up. This has been Drew for Horror, Sci-Fi, and Beyond, and I hope you have a fun, creepy, but safe Halloween.